Sixers fourth quarter live. Harry Mayes of Eytan Shander, and courtesy of the great people at Fancred, we are back once again, and not a blowout per se. Oh. Man, at this point, I think I'd rather have a blowout. The way in which this game has dragged on my life force tonight, Harry.
Yeah, and it's actually moved along pretty quickly. But yeah, it's just an awful game. It's one of those games as an NBA fan, where you just want to get to the next game. You just want to get past this. They were like 15-point favorites today that went from 14 to 15. And I'm like, I wouldn't touch this game with a 40-foot pole. This game stinks, and it has lived up to it. I mean, they got the Cavaliers missing a couple of starters, a lot of their big men. The Sixers look like ass. They're turning the ball
turnovers. Yeah,
right. Joel Embiid just looks so sluggish. I don't know what the deal is with him. They got no Jimmy Butler. They're resting him on the old load management, I guess is what they call that now in the NBA. And we had the return tonight, which I have an issue with. I have an issue with
you have an issue with the return of the great Boban Marjanovic?
No, not his return. I like the guy, but I have an issue with calling him Bobby. I don't think you can be 7'3" and called Bobby. Boban is perfect.
Here's the thing.
This Bobby and Toby stuff. Do we always need some goddamn stupid nickname for everything? Do we?
Yeah. That's
why?
Because of hockey. Stupid.
Yeah, but this isn't hockey. We don't have mullets and sweaters, and Gritty is not in the building. It's not hockey. Nobody cares about hockey.
At this point, everybody needs a nickname. It makes us feel better, all right? It makes us feel better about all the people that we love and root for. Because nobody wants to sit there and nobody wants to say Boban Marjanovic.
Well, you don't say Marjanovic.
Bobby.
He's like a soccer player in Europe. He goes by Boban. That's his name. There's no Marjanovic.
Here's the thing.
There's no anything.
You don't have to call him Bobby like I don't call him Bobby. You just don't
have to hear that chord saying Bobby from Toby and all this stuff. It's nonsense.
That's actually not bad. As bad of impersonations as we've had on this show, that's actually not that bad.
Is that right?
And Toby! Now, come on, that's got a good ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, right.
Toby and Toby! There's something about it. It just flows, man.
Yeah, it flows.
Is it because he's so awkward that you don't like Bobby, or is it just because Bobby is so damn corny?
No, I like Boban a lot. It's corny. Yes, that's exactly what it is, and I don't do corny, okay?
Yeah, you live a corn-free lifestyle.
I like corn. I like white, a nice Silver Queen corn, even on the cob, mixed in a nice salad or something like that.
Harry.
No, not Gary Cobb.
No, not Gary Cobb.
But anyway, it's 83-81. They're in a dogfight.
We actually have a close game.
With this donkey outfit in Cleveland that should actually come out with jerseys. Instead of saying Cavs, they should just have a picture of a tank on the top. That should be their logo. This team is awful.
They had a big win the other night, and now just like Phoenix had a big win the other night as well. And I think they
have a parade in Phoenix whenever they beat a team right now.
Well, especially Golden State, right? But now, in this case, it's going to be looked at one of two ways. It'll be looked at by the people that just look at the end and say, well, did they win or lose? Yeah. All I care about is they win or lose. But the reality is that the meat of it, the details of this game tonight, don't look good for the Sixers. And once again, we're talking about at home. And that home record doesn't tell the whole story when you're beating teams this way, and those teams are really bad.
Well, yeah. The other thing is
Sexton shouldn't be going off on you tonight.
No, I agree. And the thing now, Simmons just made a nice play going coast to coast for an easy 2. They're up 4 with just under 9 to play. But the thing is that bugs me, and I'm not sitting here complaining that you have games like this in the NBA schedule all the time. I get it. But they're just not looking crisp as a team with about 14 games. After tonight, there's only 14 games left in the regular season. And, right now they've got a lock on the 3 seed. It's very tenuous. They got the same record as Indiana, but I guess they got the tiebreaker. So right now, if the season ended today, they'd get the Brooklyn Nets, which is what I want. It's what you want in the first round, right?
Yeah. Over Boston, absolutely.
I would just like to see this team start to tighten it up, if you will, before playoff time, because right now they look like they're a mess.
Tim, boys, what an ugly fucking Sixers game we have in front of us. And Tim, you're dead on that. Again, just hit us up in the chat. Don't forget you can go live with us. The top right corner, the fan live where you just pop on. We had Flynn on last week down in North Carolina. He pops in again. Boban sounds masculine. Bobby sounds like a very used Velcro shoe.
Yeah.
Now, there's something to that.
Like Bobo.
I don't like Bobby, Bobo. I don't like anything like that. Just call the guy Boban is a good standalone name.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Now you're speaking my language.
Well, exactly right. Embiid has been really sloppy.
Wow. You see that?
Yes. And that's what
slick.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it came off of 2 misses, 2 offensive rebounds in a row.
Yeah.
And then you get him cleaning it up. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there has been no consistency at all with this team tonight. And when they play as sloppy as they've had, I just don't know how you can play this sloppy at home against a bad team when you have so much on the line.
Well, here's one thing. I mean, they'll get by the first round, especially if it's the Nets, even if they play a little sloppy. They'll beat that team, rather handily, I believe. But you get to that second round against a team like Toronto, and you're not playing.
Yeah,
you're not playing buttoned-up basketball.
What confidence do you have over any of these guys? Toronto, Milwaukee, any of them right now. This team does not look good at all.
No, they don't. They don't. I think right now, the way they look and the way they've been playing, they would lose to Toronto. They'd probably lose to Milwaukee, and I think they definitely lose to Boston. They just don't beat Boston.
No, they don't beat Boston when they're playing well.
Right.
Now. And here we go again with last year's excuse about Embiid being hurt down the stretch and wasn't really healthy, dealing with the mask. The team wasn't really healthy. And by the time they got to Boston, they still weren't a cohesive unit. Well, it sounds like the same discussion that we're having now. Butler's out one night, Embiid's out a couple of games, Simmons might miss a game, whatever it may be. Yeah. And now we have this, they don't even have all 4 of them on the floor a lot in order to be a cohesive unit. I'm sorry, but Kawhi Leonard doesn't play back-to-backs, and that team is pretty damn good. As they they're starting to pull away a little bit, but we'll see if they can hold on. This is that moment right now, Harry, that I would say where the Cavs call this timeout, and you're up 8. If you let them back in, it just validates what we're saying.
It does, and I think they're going to end up probably pulling away and winning this game. But it's not. That's not even the point. The point is what we were sort of hinting at is about 14 games from now when the playoffs start. This team has got to look sharper. They just got to execute better. They've got to be more judicious with the basketball. And just. Redick is another guy. Now, I know he's got a couple of threes tonight. He actually hit one off glass when he got fouled, and he hit another one just recently. I think he's 3 out of 6 from the three-point line. But he had a couple of games like that Houston game. He couldn't throw it in the ocean. He's down about 4 percentage points on his three-point shooting this season compared to last season, 42 to 38. Now, 38 is still good, but, I mean, I need to see – Redick get to be a consistent three-point shooter like he has been his entire career. He's had a couple of games here in lately where he's looked old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Without Embiid, he's struggled the most.
Yes.
There's been opportunity, I think, for Jimmy Butler to step in and take over a little more than I think we've seen, but JJ Redick has just disappeared during that 8-game stretch in which Embiid was out.
Yeah, he had a big game against Orlando a couple nights ago where I think he had like 6 threes or something. He had a really good game in that game. But you're right. When Embiid's not there, it changes the spacing and everything for JJ. But he brought up Jimmy Butler. Now, he's out tonight, and he's a guy that I really like. I know he's sort of the whipping boy for a portion of the fan base ever since they got him. They didn't like him, because he's and they've wanted him out since the day they got him.
Listen, I like him a lot, but he's been struggling as well.
He has
at times, especially on the defensive side of the floor, which I'm shocked I'm saying.
Right. Now, on the offensive side, he appears to be reticent to really take over or take shots when he has shots. He's sort of deferring a little bit too much.
Yeah, I had a theory about that.
What's that?
I just don't think he likes the offense. Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think that he likes the system. I don't think he likes what Brett Brown is running on offense more than not. Not to say every single time down the floor, Harry, but more times than not. And I don't mean this as a slight. I don't mean this as a negative. I just mean this as a reality. I can see Jimmy Butler checking out, or not even checking out so much, but just being like spiteful. This shit, man, this isn't going to work. All right, whatever. I'll just pass off.
You're reacting to that the other night against the Bulls when they did that switch or something. Remember with
that was on defense, right?
That was on defense, yeah. And he was like, "This stuff don't work."
Right.
He's
and
right.
I see him doing that in a game in which it's like, hey, there was an opportunity the other game. What was it? 2 nights ago when they played, and Jimmy had it was against the Pacers, and Jimmy had a wide open three. Open three, and he just dribbles to the free throw line extended and misses a tough 2, and he passed that up. I don't know why he's doing that. You're right that he's been hesitant to really get more involved as a dominant scorer. I'm just looking at it like he doesn't really like the fit, I think, of him in this offense.
Yeah, he might be onto something there. But again, that's something that – do you think that gets worked out, or is that something that is just – not fixable between now and the playoffs?
Well, that's what you were saying earlier about they've got 14 games from now. If they can do X, Y, and Z, they can be a competent playoff team. And that's what I'm looking at. I don't know how we make that jump from A to B. I don't know. Like, all of a sudden, this team is just going to flip a switch. I don't know. They haven't been able to do that. They don't have the history of switch flipping.
Yeah.
They don't. So I don't know where all of a sudden this – in fact, here's the thing. The way in which they're playing right now, and I'm not saying they will, but this is where I look at it, okay? The way in which they're playing right now is inconsistent and disappointing at times as they're playing right now. Now, granted, inconsistent means you're bad and good, but inconsistent. They have a better chance of losing to Brooklyn than they do beating either of the top 2 seeds right now. Now, could that change over 12 games? Sure, but things really need to change, I think, drastically in order for us to be having this conversation. You can't be turning the ball over 12-plus times in a quarter against the Cavaliers.
No, it's embarrassing. Now, Embiid hasn't gone to the free throw line yet tonight. In fact, the team as a whole did not go to the stripe until 8:18 left in the third quarter when Ben Simmons got to the line. How bizarre is that number?
Well, I don't get it. I don't get that at all. And their strategy, for the people that think that the NBA is just a guy like Scotty Brooks rolling a ball out for James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook, their strategy, these guys pay attention to things like that. And that is egregious. That's a way in which you can control the basketball game. Listen, you're professionals. You make millions of dollars, but I get it. Harry gets it. But the ball doesn't fall every single night. We understand that. So the way in which you can control tempo, the way in which you can control teams that you're better than, as they now, they're up good now, but it took a while, is going to the line, is controlling that type of tempo in the game. And they have no awareness of it. Like, where the hell is Brett Brown telling these guys, you got to get on the line? How difficult is it for Joel Embiid to get on the free throw line?
Maybe he is telling him. I don't know. Did you just see Jonathan Simmons blow that breakaway dunk?
After the Simmons dunk?
Yes.
Had
an easy 2, nice defensive play, goes to the rim and misses the dunk. Come on, man.
Ridiculous.
If I was an NBA player, if I had the gifts that any of these guys have, and I was 6'6",
here we go.
I dunked the ball, I missed a dunk like that, dude. I'm telling you, I wouldn't come out of my apartment for a week.
I'd might not be able to.
Yeah, I know.
unless you're Jonathan Simmons, they don't know who you are.
Nobody knows who he is. Yeah,
exactly right. Jeff asks, how much does this team possibly miss Landry Shamet down the stretch? No, that's not a joke. There's perimeter scoring that they're going to need to get consistently. But at this point, Jeff, it's not a bad question. I just think their defense and their inconsistencies on defense are a disgrace. And how they are just so careless with the basketball. Ed, 19 turnovers against this slop team is a disgrace. You're right, Ed. This is a joke.
No, it is. Yeah, it is. And guess who leads the way with that in that stat for the team?
I would guess Jonathan Simmons. No.
Joel Embiid has 5 of them.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me.
Ben Simmons only has 2 to go along with 8 assists. He's going to have another triple-double. He's got 9 rebounds, 25 points. He's actually made 5 out of 6 from the free throw line tonight. Played a pretty good game.
Well, they needed, and think about this, they needed him in a game against the Cleveland Cavaliers at home.
Mm-hmm.
At home.
Yeah.
And, to get bailed out by bad free throws, and it's what is it, 7 now?
What's that?
The score.
Oh, yeah. It's 93-86.
That's what I'm saying. So it's once again, and we talked about this, they're up 10 and they had the opportunity to put this thing away.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trading free throws. They're going back and forth and trading free throws. You're trading free throws to one of the worst teams in the NBA at home.
Yeah. But see here,
26 on the road.
You know the way this works, though. These guys are like, look, man, we're going to win this game. I don't want to have to give any extra effort that above and beyond the minimum to get this thing to the locker room. I mean, it's you're a game. You're closing in on 70 games for the year. You got the playoffs ahead of you. You're trying to just conserve energy.
Man, I'm telling you,
I get that.
The Sixers are different than the other good teams in the East. They don't close guys out. They just don't. That's a problem, man, especially in the playoffs. When you're up against teams and you know a run's coming, you got to hold them off. I get it. Like people say, well, there are runs in the NBA. Not every single night in every single game is there a big run in the third quarter. There are blowouts, Harry.
Oh, yes, there is.
But there are blowouts in the NBA. Teams still win by 15 to 18 points. The Sixers had an opportunity tonight to turn this thing, and when they were up 10, to extend it.
I give you that. And they should blow this team out. But if they did, would it really make you feel any better about the playoffs? Because it wouldn't do much for me.
No, this is the preseason football argument where you can only hurt your cause. You can't help your cause.
Right.
But here's the thing. If you play well tonight and you play well the next game and you play well the game prior, you've put together a 3-game streak. And that does make me feel better about the playoffs if they're more consistent that way.
Now, they got Sacramento coming in on Friday night. It's going to be the last game of a big road trip for Sacramento. And Sacramento will be coming off a back-to-back. They'll have the Celtics the night before, then the Sixers. I anticipate a beatdown of the Sacramento Kings on Friday night. That team is a good team. They're much better than they've ever been, but they're not good on the road.
Let's hope, man.
Last game of a trip and a back-to-back.
Let's hope.
Perfect spot to blow them out.
All right, Harry, we got Tim on the fan line. He's pumped up. That's all you need to do like Tim did. You have that button in the top right of your screen. Hit it, and you can go live with us on the fan line. What's up, Tim?
What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? Up? North Carolina?
Wilmington tonight, not
Wilmington.
Raleigh.
Gotcha.
I used to live there, man.
No. Oh, yeah, we know. We talk. Here's what I'm thinking. Sixers, they're going to make playoffs. They get through the first round. Do they get through the second round no matter who they play? I
don't know if they play Boston in the first round, man, in that 4-5 matchup. I do not like it. Brett Brown will be outcoached by Brad Stevens. That we know.
Last year.
And I tell you, the Boston's bench, I think, is severely better than the Sixers bench right now. And if they turn the ball over like this, with this starting 5 of great names, they'll lose that series.
Well, let's say Sixers get 3 seed and they play Detroit first round.
Or Brooklyn,
Brooklyn's a tough matchup. I don't want to see Brooklyn go 6 games first round and then goes I don't see Sixers going past second round. Is all there is to it.
I don't either. The way in which they've played recently, Tim, and I think that's a very – here's the thing. I think that's a very fair, grounded, reasonable expectation based on how they've played, man. They're not beating bad teams good in a good fashion.
They have a great five.
They just don't come out. Yeah, they just don't. I mean, at home, they came out and they got lit up more recent than not by good teams. It's frustrating. I don't count the Pacers.
All right, now I got to ask you, is it Boban or Bobby for you?
It's Boban all day long.
Good.
Bobby's more of like a toy, like child toy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's what it is.
Bobby. Yeah.
Tim, we appreciate it, brother. Have a great night down there.
Yeah, me too. Take it easy, guys.
All right, man. We'll talk to you next week. Yes. He's right. Take Bobby back to some aisle at KB Toys.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
What, KB Toys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that is. I've never been there, but I know what it is.
Oh, you never been to a KB?
Here's another sloppy pass from Embiid. Turnover, easy bucket for Cleveland. It's a 5-point game, Eytan, with 4:17 to go.
Unbelievable. It was a 10-point game. It was a 10-point game with 4:34 to go.
Mm-hmm. And Embiid just tired.
Well, in 17 seconds, a wide open three with not even a hand in their face, and B turns the ball over and it's a dunk.
Yep.
Oh, come on, man.
It's ridiculous. You know, I'd rather discuss the NFL and what just happened before we came on the air, which could really change the landscape of two divisions in the league. The NFC East with the Giants giving up their playmaking whack job in Odell Beckham Jr. That fruit is now in Cleveland, where I think he's going to flourish, by the way. And Cleveland is building up an all-star team on offense. You think about the offense. If Baker Mayfield can't put up 30-31 a week with this squad.
Pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
I would think it's going to be really disappointing, right?
It's pretty interesting. They got a first-round pick back, a third-round pick, and I believe Jabril Peppers, the safety from Michigan, was thrown into the deal. Of course, the Giants lost Landon Collins in free agency. The Redskins snatched him up, so they needed a safety. And, the Giants now, I'll tell you, Saquon Barkley. It's Saquon Barkley, and who else?
Nobody. It's nobody. And their refusal to address the quarterback position, it bites them in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Their to bring in help, and really, I mean, they made some bad decisions on the offensive line as well. Yeah. This team is regressed, and all they have to show for it is Saquon Barkley.
Well,
who's going to get 400 carries this year.
They just made another trade with Cleveland a couple of days ago, and they got an offensive lineman, a good guard, in exchange for Olivier Vernon, who was a big.
Listen, they got Luke Solder, who had a hell of a year up in New England, and he didn't do well.
No, he did not. You're right about that.
I reserve the right. Now, think about this. Browns, right? Now, thank you for this. Browns quarterback, Baker. They've got Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Landry, OBJ, and Njoku is
the tight end from Maryland, And
Njoku,
not Jokic, or the tennis player, the Joker.
Jokic.
No,
right?
No. He's like the best tennis player in the world. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah. Novacek.
No, here's the thing. Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. are like best friends. They both went to LSU. Correct. And the wide receivers coach for the Browns apparently was one of their coaches at LSU. He was the wide receiver coach there, I believe. So I think they're going to be able to – I think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be a different guy.
Correct.
Than he is and was in New York.
We should alert people as we thought this game was over.
It's now a game.
They needed a Mike Scott 3 to retake the lead. So yes, they're up 2, but they were down 1 with just over 2 minutes to go on the fourth.
99-97. Sixers with the ball. 2 minutes.
And what? Like Jimmy Butler's absence is the reason? What's going to be the excuse tonight as far as why this is a one-possession basketball game under 2 minutes left?
Look where Embiid is. He's 35 feet from the basket with 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah.
That's your offense right there. That pisses me off. I hate watching this team a lot of nights. They frustrate the hell out of me.
I don't get it.
I think Embiid just gets so gassed, like physically, that he just runs out of energy where he doesn't want to go down on the block at all. He'd rather just drift out around the three-point line and take a shot when the shot clock runs down because he's out of gas.
No, you're right. And that's the thing. Like, without that shot, without that bailout shot, it just looks like a guy who's tired standing at the top of the free throw line.
Yeah, he wants to extend as little energy as possible.
You know, we make fun of the load management thing, but I go back to Kawhi and I go back to the Raptors not playing Leonard at all in any back-to-backs this year. And there's something about Joel Embiid. And I know we love him and he has the puppy and he's a great character and he's awesome on social media, but
I don't care about
he doesn't understand how to deal with his body.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
I know.
And he's the one dictating the terms of when he plays and when he rests and all these things because that's what happens in the NBA. But he's not looking at this long term. Yeah. If you're a 6'8" swing man, if you can play the 2, 3, 4, and your body is more designed to go up and down the floor, it's one thing. But when you're Boban Marjanovic's size, you need to take games off. Like the Sixers, it's okay if Embiid played like 66 games a year. That's okay. Because you know what, Harry? He wouldn't be looking sluggish or gassed or any of this in the postseason.
Now we got a 1-point game with 1:04 left. Sixers are up 100-99.
99. Thanks to Jordan Clarkson.
Way under the total right now. The total was 223.5 on this.
Oh, yeah, that was an easy under.
Yeah.
Easy under. Come on. You knew Cleveland wasn't bringing in anything here.
No, I know. And, you know,
that was a tough shot by Clarkson, man.
No Kevin Love, no Tristan Thompson, no Nance Jr., Dellavedova, Chris. He's suspended. So they're missing a bunch of guys tonight. You got to kind of admire their fight tonight. Oh wow, you see that?
Indeed.
Oh man. He said, "Hey, Mayes and Shander, shut the hell up."
Good.
Yeah,
if that's what it takes to wake his ass up.
I agree.
Good.
I agree.
This is not Golden State, man. This is not Toronto. This is not Oklahoma City. This is not a team that has any type of pedigree of getting and doing things in the playoffs and us just chalking it up to another night in March.
No, I mean, look at this. I mean, Sexton's a nice player. That Osman guy, Osman is like their second leading scorer tonight.
Right, and Osman is the one who's been doing a lot of damage, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, this is not a quarterback or a pitcher who comes in fresh that you don't have a scouting report on.
Right, you know? Yeah. You mean the guy that comes in from the minor leagues from one spot start? He comes up from AAA, and all of a sudden nobody's seen him, and all of a sudden he dazzles for 6 innings.
Yes. Yeah. That's not this. I hate to break it to you all, but that's not what's going on right now. These are a bunch of backups that are doing work on the Sixers to the point in which they're holding on. Now imagine that, holding on with 30 seconds left at home.
Yeah. I know.
These wins, man, these are the ones you go back to and you point to and you say, this is why this team gets their ass kicked against Boston in the first round, or this is why this team just looks totally unprepared or gets handed in the second round against Milwaukee or Toronto.
Can you imagine? Now, I know the game's not over yet. Can you imagine they lose this game?
Well,
all the hand-wringing that's going to be going on between now and tomorrow morning in Philadelphia. You know, you'd have to love to listen to Brett Brown post-game. They lose this game. They win it, I don't care. But they're only up 3. If they lose this game, people are going to be going crazy.
It feels like the opposite of a moral victory. An immoral loss.
Yeah.
Right? Because you say you lose, and a moral victory means like you try to get something out of it. You win, but it's really like a bad win.
Embiid just hit his hand on the rim trying to block a shot, and he went off on the sideline, kind of holding it a little bit.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, I know. He's in there.
No, but I'm just saying now.
Oh, what a block he just made.
That might have done it. Zizic.
He's showing some energy here late. I got to give it to him.
You got a 2-for-1 here. Just milk this thing and then play defense.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple.
Well, how about, I don't know if you saw, at the end of the first quarter, now I know it's the first quarter of an NBA game, but there's like 19, 20 seconds left, and Embiid has the ball out at the top of the key. They could have just ran the clock down to almost nothing because the 24-second clock, I forget what the differential was. He takes a shot from 3 with 19 point something left in the quarter and missed it. Gives Cleveland the opportunity, and I think they might have come back. But it's just stupid crap like that drives me nuts.
It doesn't make any sense. That there's no strategy behind that type of move.
Right, and that's part of what you were saying about how to manage the game.
Yeah, where you're not on the same page with coach and player. Just don't look like they're on. And I'm not blaming Brett Brown. I'm just saying coach and player. Now, here's the thing. I don't know why with 29 and a half seconds left, down 3, they fouled. That was, again, we talk about bad decisions. The Sixers have been, remember the Pelicans game? The Sixers have benefited a lot this year from bad
lost.
Making stupid decisions in the end of it.
Yeah,
like,
that game they could have
no
lost.
reason whatsoever to foul right there. This game's over now. But you're down 3 points, and you put Embiid on the line when all you needed to do was play defense, and you would have had at least 7 seconds to get a shot off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what upsets me too. Is that people will look at this and say, well, the Sixers escaped, they got to win. Okay, you move on, you forget about it.
Right.
But then you start to look at patterns. And one thing that doesn't get discussed enough about this team when they go and play down to teams like the Cavs or Pelicans or Knicks, not the Knicks,
the Bulls,
another one, yes, is what we're seeing again tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And that just is definitely going to carry over and be a problem where you're going to look and see, wait a second, what happened? They were in this game in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, Boston or Toronto pulls away. And they start losing these games. I like if they got swept by Toronto, the way in which they've been playing right now in the second round, assuming they get out of Brooklyn, would you really be shocked?
Swept?
I mean, the way in which
I'd be shocked if they got swept. I would. I mean, I'd be shocked they don't get a game, but I would expect them to lose the series right now with the way they're playing. I would.
Okay, a game. But I wouldn't be shocked if, personally, because I asked the question, I wouldn't be shocked if they got swept. But I'm telling you, a game is really what I can give them at this point. And I don't know how they keep games close. They don't have any feel for the tempo.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. And it's not just Brett Brown. A lot of this is on the players.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have an experienced ball handler in the postseason that you can go to right now. You don't.
I mean – Butler's the guy, I guess. But he hasn't played a ton of playoff games. Been on some bad teams. But he would be the guy.
And Harry, I guess, and Tobias Harris, maybe this is his coming out party this year. But the reality is it's not just when people hear that phrase, it's not just about you need a bucket in the end. Like, I'm not just saying, hey, they don't have a Kyrie Irving, therefore they're going to be screwed at the end of the game.
Yeah, closer.
My point of it is, in the second, but not just a closer. It goes back to what we were just talking about with tempo. You need to have somebody who understands when you're losing the tempo of a game in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You need to, like Andre Miller. You need to have somebody like that.
Yeah.
Who understands what ball control means, even though you want to go a mile a minute.
No,
what slowing you down for 1 or 2 possessions means.
It's a great point, just to really understand the pacing of the game. Yeah, you're exactly right. And Simmons isn't there yet. We all know that, right?
No, he's not. And I don't think that he's a long ways away. But the problem is that everybody around him, to an extent, is young as well. And Redick is there really as – Redick is like Deshaun Jackson. If Redick isn't knocking threes, if Deshaun isn't dropping downfield and opening up a defense,
right.
both of them are worthless.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they can't affect the game in other ways.
Yeah, and that's the problem is that you can't rely on a guy to be out there on the floor in crunch time if he's one-dimensional and the team has found a way to take him out of a game.
Now Boban's getting interviewed here. He had 11 points in 13 minutes, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. So a nice return for Boban.
Yeah, I'm out on this like post-game fascination with Boban. Just put Ben Simmons in front of the mic and move on. All right. Well, I love Boban and his cauliflower ears like the next fan. What's up with those ears, bro?
Yeah, no, he looks like he was like a high school wrestler or something. You know what I'm saying?
Where's he
from? There are guys in your school that used to have that, the wrestlers?
Yeah, but they would scare you and say that you had to wear the headgear, otherwise you end up like Boban.
Mm-hmm. That's what he looks like. You got to wear one of those high school wrestling headgears in the game. That'd be cool.
He's got to wear something to protect his head, man. Look at that.
Something to protect that big nose too. But he's got a huge nose.
Now, what's bigger? Do you think his nose or his ear?
I thought you were going to ask about another appendage. I'm glad.
No, I don't care about that. Nor do I care what you think about.
Well, I don't know. This whole town is obsessed with Nick Foles' third leg. You know, now that they're all distressed that's in Jacksonville now. $1 million guaranteed.
And thank God that thing is over.
Oh, I know. Me too. Jesus. Let's see what Embiid's line is. Embiid played 34 minutes, had 17 points, 6 of 16 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. A lot of those were late in the fourth quarter. 19 rebounds tonight, Eytan. Of course, Cleveland with really no big men tonight.
Right. No, I mean, they
5
don't.
assists and 6 turnovers.
It was a quiet line for Embiid tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
except late in the final couple minutes, he really made a bunch of plays.
It is funny to watch these bigs around, like on that replay with Boban, just watching these guys, these quote-unquote bigs that Cleveland has, just stand there and watch this monster just throw down.
Take over. Ben Simmons had 26 points, 10 of 16, 6 of 8 from the free throw line, a plus 11 with 10 rebounds, 8 assists. So he doesn't get the triple-double.
Right.
And he had 2 turnovers.
Well, I guess that was the big saving grace tonight, was that you had consistency for Ben Simmons. As much as we were talking about the issues that we think will come about in the postseason, tonight you did have that guy in Ben Simmons. The problem is just that this team, it should not have ever been this close.
I agree.
And we're talking about one of the worst teams in the NBA.
They out-rebounded the Cavaliers by 23 tonight. 60 rebounds for the Sixers.
Now, how do you out-rebound a team by 23 and it's that close towards the end?
Close. Well, you have 21 turnovers. That's a big part of it.
Just handing the basketball over, man.
Yeah.
Handing it over at this point.
Yep.
So it's one of these games where you look for patterns and you look to see how often this thing has happened. And unfortunately, we've seen this team with slow starts at home. You can't afford to do that. I mean, even if we are talking about Brooklyn.
Against good teams that you thought they'd be ready for and motivated to really, come out and make a statement. We always use that word statement all the time.
And
Indiana's winning tonight. That game's late. Inside a minute to go. They're up 5 on the Knicks. So they're going to get another win. They keep pace with the Sixers. And Milwaukee is up 8 on New Orleans just inside the third quarter. Those are some other Eastern Conference teams.
Man, I'm telling you, that Eastern Conference with that 3 seed is make or break for either team.
Yeah, because I could see Indiana and Boston. I could see Indiana giving Boston a good series.
I don't.
No? Indiana's tough, man.
Listen, they're a great defensive team, and I'm with you.
They really are.
But I don't think they have the firepower to outlast Boston in a 7-game series.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I just don't think they're not that good.
They will not go down easy. I'm really impressed with what they've done since losing Oladipo. I thought they'd just fall apart.
No, we all did.
Yeah.
But, Sabonis has been outstanding.
Yeah.
And they've been able to get really great perimeter defense as well. All right, reminder to everybody out there. Next Wednesday, that's coming up, March 20th.
Yeah.
A week from tomorrow, next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday, March 20th, 8:45 p.m., Celtics-Sixers will start our fourth quarter live. And damn it, they better look a lot better against the Celtics than they did tonight against the Cavs, because if this is another one of these come out and look like shit games in the first half, you and I might lose it.
Yeah, there's no might about it. I will, I guarantee you. And remember, we did a Celtics game already for Fancred.
Yeah, it was one of those games that we mentioned where they came out, they looked like shit.
Yeah, it was one of the first games we did, and they just came out with nothing. So they're going to be at home. So we'll see.
Unbelievable. This thing better work. That's all I got to say, because you do not want to be up there in Boston. Real quick, on the way out, thoughts on Embiid's puppy. We didn't bring it up at all tonight.
I don't care about the puppy. I saw pictures of it. I don't care about his model girlfriend. I don't care about the puppy. That stuff, I don't care.
I don't like those puppies, those types of dogs. Why can't you get a short-haired dog like a normal person?
What kind of dog is it?
It's a weird-looking. Is it like an
Irish? A really expensive breed or something, right?
Like an Irish Doodle or something. It's got like Labradoodle in it. Just get a straight-haired dog, like a short-haired dog or a retriever. All right.
Why do you have to tell him what kind of dog to get? Maybe just because he doesn't like the dogs you like.
Listen, you saw my dogs. Who doesn't?
You're nice dogs. You had Weimaraners.
Yeah, Weimaraners. Nobody dislikes the Weimaraner. All right.
Yeah, the Weimaraner's a good dog.
Hey, let me tell you, Harry, that's a great
smart breed there.
That's a great dog. All right, we're back Wednesday, March 20th. That's a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
And damn it, this Sixers team better look better. They've got some opportunity.
And in the meantime, at Harry Mayes TU at Shander Show.
And what do you got going on? You want to let everybody know?
Well, we're going to be doing some appearances at Parks Casino here for the NCAA tournament. We're opening up the Valley Forge location a couple days from now on Thursday from 3 to 5. People can come out and see us. And you and I, our show starts up in a matter of days. We're about 2.5 weeks away, April 1st. I got that project with Bruno that is getting closer and looking like more of a reality. So there's a lot going on.
Nice. All right. For Harry Mayes, I'm Eytan Shander. Again, at Harry Mayes to you, at Shander Show. Thanks to everybody at Fancred once again for a great broadcast. We appreciate you, and make sure you continue to stay interactive on the app as well. We'll see you a week from tomorrow.